So here's the question. As a real estate investor, how do you build a business that you're excited to show up to every day while you constantly grow your stream of passive income that you and your family can depend on for life without having to leave your computer or even live somewhere that houses are affordable? That's the question, and this podcast will give you the answers. Welcome to the Virtual Real Estate Investing Podcast with your host, Brian Elwood.
What's up, guys? Brian Elwood here. Welcome back to the Virtual Real Estate Investing Podcast. So last week I had my right-hand man, my integrator in town visiting me. His name is Danny Coleman. He's a rock star. And if you've heard some of my other content or you've been through any of my membership program content, you know how important it is to me that every business have both a visionary and an integrator. In fact, I've got an upcoming podcast where I'm going to talk more about that concept. But anyways, Danny and I were kind of joking around about the very first time that he interviewed for our company. It was probably over 3 years ago now. And one of the things that was a big turnoff for him when he came and interviewed with us was the fact that we told him that direct mail was actually our bread and butter and where 90% of our leads were coming from. Because Danny's pretty ahead of the times and was already big on the digital marketing trend and kind of saw where marketing is going in the future, which I agree with, by the way. We laughed about that because once he did end up taking the job and kind of dove in and saw what we were doing, he kind of realized, wow, direct mail really does work better than anything else in real estate marketing currently. And so I want to talk a little bit about why that is and what you need to do to make sure that you really crush it with your direct mail campaigns, because we've spent hundreds of thousands of dollars at this point on direct mail and we've done really well. And other times we've wasted a lot of money and not done well at all. So I want to share with you what we have learned. So the first thing is that you need to determine exactly who you're going after. If you've heard of determining who your customer avatar is before, then you know what I'm talking about. The more detailed you can get and the clearer of a picture you can paint of the type of person you're going after, the better ROI you're going to get on your marketing dollars, and you're going to have a lot less waste, meaning leads coming in that you don't want, that you can't do anything with, and you're going to have a higher lead to deal ratio. So in this industry, it's almost more about targeting properties than it is people. So you would start with, what zip codes do I want properties in? And then once you write those down, let's say you come up with 15 zip codes in your target market where you want to buy deals. Then you say, well, what types of properties in those zip codes? Is it a single family, multifamily, apartment, condo, some combination of each? How big should they be? What's the minimum and maximum square footage that I'm comfortable with? What about bedrooms and bathroom combination? Do I even want 1 bedrooms? Do I want 5 bedrooms or 4? What's the sweet spot? What about year built? When was the property built? What's the average appraised value range from lowest to highest of the properties that I want, right? What about how they were built? Maybe you don't want a property that was built, maybe you only want all brick or something like that. You can get as targeted as you want to get. And in fact, I recommend that starting out as targeted as possible is actually how you prove that your model works before you go to less and less targeted stuff. If you define your criteria, like the perfect deals for you, and then you start to market for them and it doesn't work and you can't get any of those deals, then what's the point in loosening up your criteria and going after a bunch of other things that don't fit your model as well? Meaning once you get those deals, you're not going to make you as much money or they won't work out. Really, it's all about kind of proving the model first. So right now I'm running Facebook ads, for example, just to give you a digital marketing kind of crossover example here. And I only put about $7 a day behind every Facebook ad that I create. And if I don't get a certain cost per click and cost per lead ratio, which I think it's about $1 or less per lead and maybe 15 cents or less per click, then I don't put any more dollars behind those ads. I realize that there's something off with the marketing. The targeting's wrong, the copy is wrong, the image needs to be changed or split tested. And you keep going until you hit the KPIs that you know your numbers will work for. And then once that happens, that's when you step on the gas. So when you start mailing direct mail, because direct mail is really honestly one of the most expensive forms of marketing there is. I mean, television commercials and radio is probably more expensive from a cost per lead standpoint. But direct mail is expensive compared to the digital marketing channels nowadays. And I certainly recommend that you stay ahead of the curve and get into digital marketing as well. But direct mail is still on top of the mountain, just in terms of today in the marketing world, in the real estate marketing world. But you have to track your numbers. If, for example, if it's costing you $300 to get one lead, which it was for us at one time, but then it takes you 30 leads to get a deal, then that would cost you $9,000 in direct mail marketing spend to get one deal. Now, is that worth it for you? Well, that depends on what your average deal size is. If you're spending $9,000 to get one deal, then the deals better be making you at least $30,000 for it to make sense. If your average profit on a deal was only 10 or 15, but it cost you 9, then it would not be worth it. By the time you pay for all your other expenses, you're going to be losing money at that cost per lead ratio. So backing up a little bit to the beginning, once you know what types of properties you want in any market, what do you need to do? You need to get in touch with the owners of those houses. And direct mail is still the best way to do the first initial contact. Most property owners are 50 years of age or older. They still check their mail every day. I mean, I'm 33 and I still like checking the mail every day for some reason. I hate email, but I don't mind getting the mail. The other ways that you can kind of create initial contact, like knocking doors, doing cold calling, and getting people's email addresses through these third-party services that sell them, those are either not really legal or, in my opinion, not really ethical. I don't like the idea of cold calling and door knocking and stuff like that. I like to obtain people's permission to talk to them rather than just kind of spam them. And I feel that direct mail is a way that you can do that because it is legal to market to people via sending them something in the mail. Think about all the other stuff you get every time you go to your mailbox, all those coupons and postcards from realtors and stuff. You want to be part of that mix. So let's talk about getting started and what some of the best lists and pieces are. So for us, if I'm going to go into a brand new market today, the first thing I would do was obviously be to define my criteria, like I said earlier. And then I would probably check out how many out-of-state absentee owners there are in that fit all that criteria. If the list is, 1,000 or more, I go ahead and grab that and just start there and see how it does, basically. See how that list does. Of course, you want to exclude duplicates when you pull your list. But out-of-state absentee owners are typically the easiest people to work with. They view the house as an investment. They're not attached to it. They don't see it very often or ever. And it's a good way to test your theory on whether or not your marketing is going to work in that market. Vacant houses, which we use Kent Clothier's software, find motivated sellers now, are great. And then probates is the third one I would recommend. And that requires some effort. You have to figure out who is inheriting properties in your county, and you have to contact the county courthouse. And usually they will give you access to that information for an online subscription service, or you may have to actually pay someone every couple of weeks to go down to the courthouse and pull the names and put them on a list for you. And once you have your list, The best pieces generally are postcards just because the cost is a lot less. You can get postcards for 30 some cents each, and that's postage and printing out the door total. I think we get them for 32 cents each total. So that's 1,000 postcards for only $320. It's a pretty good deal. But your postcard should have strong copy on it. You definitely want to read No BS Marketing by Dan Kennedy to get some of the main things that you want to have in all of your marketing copy to make it a lot stronger. And then we also mix in letters and zip letters and cardboard mailers and other weird stuff. We've mailed little paper wallets to people before and things with like a Tylenol in them. It's just kind of a joke. Like, is your house giving you a headache? And it has like a Tylenol in there. I don't know that I'd do that again, honestly, because I don't think you're supposed to mail people anything any kind of medicine. So, but you get my point. Like, the more quirky and standoutish you can be, the better. And then you need a process for following up. And I'm going to make a whole future episode on this, but you're not going to close 80% of the people that you can on the very first phone call. It's just not the way it works. They're not ready and they don't trust you, and they're just kind of putting their feelers out there. And so if you're not following up on the leads that you do get, then you're wasting money and you're not effectively, determining if your marketing campaign could even work. Again, so track your metrics. What's your cost per lead? A lead is someone who calls and gives you their information. It's not just a hang up or someone who calls and says, take me off your list. Don't count those people as leads. And again, track your numbers, and figure out what's your cost to get a lead and what is it your cost per deal and what's your average profit per deal. Having all those three lined up in front of you to where you can see them is very powerful. And at the end of the day, the numbers need to work in businesses. So it needs to, just to put it on a micro level for you, if you could get a lead for $1 and the average lead could make you, $8 in profit, then you're good. That ratio is healthy and you can pay more money in marketing dollars to acquire more leads at $1 as long as they continue to make you 8. Now, usually what you find is the more you step on the gas, the less your margins get because you kind of hit the law of diminishing returns. So your cost per lead might go up to, $4 or whatever, and each one's making you an average of $8. And that's still okay, that 2-to-1 ratio, but it's getting kind of tight. Really, you want to be more the 3-to-1 or 4-to-1 ratio. So think about that, guys, and ease into your direct mail campaigns somewhat gently. Definitely start with absentee owners. In fact, that's actually all we go after, which I've talked about in previous episodes. But yeah, you need to be doing direct mail. It's a good place to start in terms of marketing, but definitely don't just think that direct mail is going to be around forever and it's always going to work as well as it has been working. In my opinion, it's slowly but surely kind of on its way out, and we're going to have to figure out how to market to people digitally. So getting people's email addresses is super powerful because as soon as you have a certain amount of those, you can go on Facebook, create a custom audience to where you can show those people who used that email to sign up for their Facebook account. You can show them your ads online. You can obviously email them. You can create lookalike audiences of people who are like them, and show them Facebook ads. Do, Google AdWords. Really, digital marketing is a lot cheaper in terms of cost per lead. It's just that the real estate space hasn't really cracked that code yet. How do you digitally market in an effective way to sellers? And I think that is still due in part to the fact that most of our customers are 50 and older. And although a lot of them are on Facebook, there's still a good chunk that aren't, or they just don't really, find out about companies via Facebook. They get on there just to network with old friends and stuff, and they're not clicking on every ad that they see like us other, younger folks are, I guess, where we're buying crap on Facebook every day because of these very catchy videos that people use for their Facebook ads and stuff. But think about it, like over time, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, like all the people that use that, all the people that do use all those channels today are eventually going to become older, and they're going to be part of the target market that we're currently going after. And they've been using social media and email and stuff their whole life. So that's going to be where they consume rather than on TV and rather than via the mailbox. So definitely, keep one foot in and one foot out, so to speak, with your direct mail endeavors. Thank you guys so much for listening. Leave me a review on iTunes, please. It helps the show a lot. And I will see you on the next episode. Peace.
Want more? Get your free copy of Brian's book that is changing real estate businesses everywhere. Just go to www.fireyourself.net. Also, register for your free virtual real estate investing online masterclass at virtualinvestingclass.com.